And we are back on planet, my friends. Welcome back to the Green Hand Games as I land on our versatile framework factory. I was not trying to have this built out by the time this episode released, but I accidentally lost some footage that I was going to show you. So I will be showing you how I built this out. But in today's episode, we are going to build out our first more complex logistics system. We're going to build out a tractor network, so a road network. So let's go on over and see how to do that. So in our playthrough, we did unlock tractors and truck stations. We just haven't really used it yet. So let me pull open the build menu. Man, I remember when I first did this, look, they're still new. I haven't even moused over them yet. There's a tractor, nice looking device. So here we have it. The sugar cube looks really nice. You can pop the back open, toss some fuel in, and drive it around. So let's take this on over to the area that we want to automate. So these aren't that good. You'll get trucks later on, but the tractor is what we have, so the tractor is what we will use. So see our steel belt highway? It doesn't look that bad. Sometimes I kind of like these floating highways, but to be honest, we do not need it. We're gonna use this tractor to bring our steel right over here. Let's go off-road and get it on over to the Versatile Framework Factory, clean this factory up just a touch. To do that, we need truck stations. And what you need is one at the place where you are ferrying resources from and one at the place that you are bringing those resources. So in this case, we need a tractor station somewhere around here to get our steel beams into this input, which I just disconnected because remember, all of that's gonna be gone. So when we place one down, we see two input lines here, two output lines here, and then a fuel line right there. And then this little box will indicate where your truck or tractor is going to stop to either unload or load materials. So we've got plenty of space right here. Let's just center it out like that and place it. These all need to be powered up. So that is online. Before we go build our other station, set this one to unload, because this is where we want our items to come out of. And what I like to do is say the item that it's going to be receiving, steel beams, making versatile frameworks. Now what we'll do is build out just a little platform here, and then I want a ramp that the truck can come up and dock right here. So there we have it. It can come up here and it'll then come around here once we deconstruct all of this. And I won't put you through that. So let's do a quick little boop. Okay, it is gone. I do need to get rid of this eyesore in a second, but we have a job to do, my friends. So here is our steel output. We're going to use all 30 for now. We'll expand the steel factory a little bit later on, but I'm going to bring this down to the ground floor because I'm going to be using the native terrain to drive my truck around. So all I need to do here is throw some platforms down. We only need a Mark 1 lift because we need 60 a minute. So this enforces that we're only doing about 60, and we want our truck station taking in resources from right about there. Let's make sure we are aligned there. We are. We'll power this up and we will call this steel beams. So this indicates that this is a loading zone only because it has a single name. This is just what is being produced at this area. And we'll throw some ramps on so that our tractor can get up here. So what we need to do now is throw our tractor back down on the map. We will manually fill it with fuel. We're gonna hop in, and this is where you get into automated paths. So this is the beauty of the game. When you start having things do things for you, which is great. So press Q to open the record menu, click start recording, and now everything you do is going to be recorded for an automated pathway. So what we want to do here is just gently drive up here. We will stop right here for a few seconds. This will turn to a pause signal. You'll see when we drive away. And then what we're going to do is just drive back over to our Versatile Framework Factory using the native terrain. Be a little bit slow here because sometimes you can jump around and get a little bit lost, but you can either do it this way, which I like in the early game at least, or you can build dedicated roads, which is a really cool and fun look, but I don't really like doing it that much. Okay, so I already messed this up. So you have to complete a full loop. So when you get back to the place that you started your path at, you'll see this right here, and you will go right up to it, stop, and it'll say path recording completed. You can now save and load it from other vehicles. So now open up the record menu and click save, and we will call this steel beams to Versatile Framework, and we'll save this. Now what's beautiful is we can now officially start delivering stuff to our factory here. What we need to do before that though is make sure that our output here, our steel beams, actually makes its way over here. Okay, we have our input coming over here, and now our steel beams should work as soon as we fire this up. But there's one thing we have forgotten. What happens when we run out of fuel? I just burned quite a bit of coal. We need to have a fuel input set up on at least one of your stations if a full stack will get you where you need to go. So I didn't burn 100 coal going back and forth here. So as long as I load at least one of these stations up. Now, fortunately, right over there, I've got a coal plant that I'm not fully utilizing this 240 belt of coal. So what we're going to do is manually feed this one for now, but we're going to remove this coal highway as well using tractors, and I'll show you how to automate the fuel input. But you got to get a win, you know? So let's load up a path and let's see what happens. Off we go. Early on in the game, because you're going to move to trucks if you're still using cars to transport stuff, I don't find it super valuable to build out a robust road network just yet. You don't have upgraded blueprints yet. There's some materials in the shop that you haven't unlocked. You're going to want to rebuild it later. So for now, I find it's kind of satisfying, honestly, to have these roam over the native terrain as they make a little jump over that bump right there. Okay, we're pulling up on the steel beams for the first time. Let's see if we get a successful load. We should watch about 800 beams. Yeah, look at that. We just started loading it. That load animation is not super particular. You don't have to stress out too much if it's off because you saw these start to disappear right away. So here we go. Our tractor is back off. I've noticed sometimes if you hop in the driver's seat while it's on autopilot, it will stop working as well. So if you do really want to ride the tractor, I just stay on top of it. If you ever need to change a node, you can actually just delete a node like that. That's where I started, and there's a weird pause there that I didn't need. So I deleted that node and it's going to go from this one to this one now, which just adds a little bit more efficiency to this path. Okay, now we are unloading our steel beams for the very first time. We should start seeing them drop in there. And yeah, they are now moving across our conveyor system, dropping in, filling this up, and our versatile framework input for steel beams is now automated. Off goes our tractor to complete the trip again. Now, something that you will notice is it's going to start to measure the amount that you are getting. So we're getting 307 items per minute. Now, that's a little bit inaccurate because it took us some time to build this network up. So we need to let a few of these cycles pass, and the average transit time is going to spit out a number here. And as long as this number is above what the production number you need here is, which right now I'm 10 times above, so I'm totally fine, you will not run into a throughput issue on wherever you're ferrying those resources to. So while that is going, I'm going to run out of coal on this pretty soon because neither this truck station nor that one has a fuel input. So let's figure out how to fix up our coal line. The way we're going to deal with this coal line is in fact by peeling off some of it to create a dedicated truck station that will refuel any truck in this vicinity. So we have 12 coal facilities. Remember, those use 15 per minute. So 240 is our total input going in. We have 12 using 15, which means, oh, we got to do a minus sign there. We still have 60 coal left, which is more than enough per minute to send to a fueling station here. So that is exactly what I am going to do. So this is going to be a communal station where any truck that wants to, as long as you record a path that includes this, can come through and get some fuel. The way we're going to do this is really simple. That is our fuel input. So we need to drag a conveyor out this way and input some coal from our overflow. So the way to do that is to pull off of the end of a manifold line, given that we don't have a smart splitter yet. We don't have that. We'll get that later on. Oh man, this doesn't look that good, but hey, for now, it is going to work. And just like that, my friends, we have an overflow coal line coming to a dedicated fueling truck station where every single truck that's in our sort of network in this area, at least, will drive through this station just so they have a forever ability to refuel. And if you're curious where your trucks are on the map, looks like mine ran out of fuel right over there. So let's go get that going and we'll drag a new path. Here's our poor truck out of fuel. What I'm going to do is pop into the paths and I will delete the path because we're going to want to re-record one where it is actually going to a fuel station. Let's load it back up with fuel and we need to disable autopilot and we will record our new path. So this is a fun way to get stuff around the map early game without having to deal with tons of belt highways, but without also having to create like a super complicated network that confuses you, especially as you're just getting used to the game. So I just paused there and I'm doing a bit of a reverse and we're going to head on back to our steel facility. Let's load up a path. Autopilot is on. We'll get out of the car and we'll let it do its magic. Okay, the unload is complete. Let's see if it'll fuel appropriately. So we've got 82 fuel in the tank right now. We should just see it pop right up here and immediately top up and then back up. Yep, we're back at 100. So now we've created a true sustainable loop. We have a sustainable source of coal, constantly refilling our fuel input on this refueling station. We have our beam acceptor here that is creating versatile frameworks, which in fact, we've already got 200 out of the 1,000 that we need. And then we're gonna go retrieve more steel beams at a rate that is sufficient. We are getting more than 30 per minute once this starts firing again, which means this throughput will never be disrupted. So you've learned how to create your very, very first simple tractor network. You can start doing this for other resources around the game. I know I mentioned I wanted to get rid of this coal highway, but that would be somewhat unwise because I'd need enough to keep this going while I was under construction, and I don't think I have enough. So if you ever interrupt your coal supply without having backup power, you might be in a bad spot. And speaking of, remember our power towers, that little blueprint that we made with a built-in battery. We've been running at a surplus long enough now that our batteries are at 50% charged, which is fantastic. We've stored almost 550 megawatt hours. And even with my 4 extra coal generators that I built over there, you can see we are still dipping into our biomass burners, which we don't want to be doing. So I'm going to have to figure out some more power in the next episode. This has been the Green Hand Games as our steel beams come in to our factory, and I almost get run over by my car. Remember, I have a live competition on the channel. If you guess my identity, I am a YouTuber with about 3.5 million subscribers on a different channel, different category, not gaming altogether. I will buy the first person to do it a deluxe edition of Satisfactory on whatever platform you prefer. So thanks for subscribing, guys. Better audio, better music, better balancing on this video. We're getting better with every upload. I will see you guys soon. Peace out.